One more thing. I got this question asked to me a lot today. Do the Mavericks need to blow it up? Who do they need to trade? I'll tell you right now. Welcome. You're still locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for over 10 years. It's One More Thing, a bonus episode of Locked On Mavs. You missed the episode with me and Slightly talking about the Giannis situation. We also talked about the Mavs-Timberwolves game, barely. I'm still here in the American Airlines Center. They haven't kicked me out yet, so we're just going to keep talking Mavs as we're still hanging out here. And so I want to talk about the Mavs and their trades, because I got a lot of questions today about who should they trade, who do you want them to trade, what do you think is going on with the Mavs trades, is there something brewing? Do the Mavs need to get rid of all these guys and blow it all up? And I got to ask that question, and maybe it got me thinking, and so I want to get into that. So let's talk about that. Do the Mavs need to blow it up? Do they need to trade a bunch of guys, start over? You want to build around Cooper Flagg, of course, but what do the Mavs actually need to do? I think this trade deadline, I don't think they have to do a ton. I think they should try and look for trades for Anthony Davis if they can get trades done for Anthony Davis, or just a trade. It only takes one, right? I think they should do that. Isaac and I have gone over that a bunch of times on this show, different reasons why. But basically the idea is the injury history plus the contract, plus he wants an extension. He's making too much money, not playing enough games, and he wants to be paid more for longer from the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavs are not interested in paying Anthony Davis for an extension. If you're in part of the Raccoon Squad and you listen to the show every day, you know why. We've talked about this a lot. But I think that's the one piece that you move on from, because it gives you more flexibility. It allows you to move on from this injury wheel of Anthony Davis and trying to figure out, all right, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? He's ramping up. He's not. The Mavs aren't a win-now team right now, right? And so to put all the stock into this one guy being the focal point of the team, being the thing that the team was built around, quote unquote, by Nico Harrison, I think that's done. I think that's over. So if the Mavs can do something with that, they should. If not, then the offseason, because Anthony Davis is just going to want a contract extension, and the Mavs don't want to give it to him. Like, that's case in point. Boom, right there. So if you're not doing Anthony Davis, then who are you keeping? All right, so you obviously keep Cooper Flagg, right? The most obvious thing I could ever say on this show. He's the future. The future is being built around him. He is a star in the making. 19, 6, and 4. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Like, just an incredible rookie season. So much room for him to grow. So much more that he can show the NBA. So much more that he can do. And so, obviously, Cooper Flagg is the thing that you're building around going forward. But you need to blow it up everything else around around Cooper Flagg. Max Christie, another piece that the Mavs have. Max Christie is making, it's $7 million this year, $8 million the year after that, and $8.5 million as a player option the year after that. You got to think about a Max Christie extension, but not for a year or two. So you're okay with that. You're all right. Max Christie, great. Can shoot the three, can shoot the lights out. Has been shooting incredible this season. Can play some defense. You're feeling good about Max Christie. Dereck Lively should be part of the foundation of this team. If it was Flagg, Max, and Lively was healthy and he was playing, we'd feel so good about the young core of this Mavericks team. Lively is making $5.2 million this year, $7.2 million next year. That's a lot of Legos. And then a restricted free agent after that. That is going to be a decision. Whoever the next GM of this Mavs team is going to be, that's going to be a big decision they have to make. What do they extend him for? Do they have enough time to evaluate him injury-wise? Because he has not played a lot of games. He's only going to play 7 games this season. 55 was the most that he played, and that was the finals run year. And they even had some injury concerns during that season, obviously. Lively should be part of it. I think you keep Lively. You have to figure that extension out, but obviously you keep it going forward. He's part of the long-term future. Kyrie Irving, you keep him as long as you want. He's making – and the difference between him and Anthony Davis is a couple things. Kyrie has been more healthy. I know he's missed all this time with the ACL injury, but that's one major injury compared to the 4 or 5 different injuries that Anthony Davis has dealt with. Sucks for him, but that is what it is. Kyrie Irving's making $36 million this year, $39 million next year, $42 the year after that. He's not making the same amount as Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis in that third year, so the third year of the V word, the plan that Nico Harrison had, there was going to be this year, next year, the year after that. That year after that is the 2027-2028 season. Anthony Davis will make $62.7 million in that player option. That's an incredible number. Kyrie's making 42.4. Still an incredible number, but $20 million less. It's like if you're going to pick one or the other, right? Like it seems like that's what you may have to do. Then you do that. And Kyrie has been an incredible leader. Kyrie is get your own bucket point guard. He can play off of stars. We've seen that with LeBron. We've seen that. Like there's just a bunch of reasons to keep Kyrie. If Kyrie doesn't want to stay, then you figure that out. So there's that with Kyrie. Then I think it's PJ Washington. I think it's a part of this future, part of this team going in the future. He's in a slump right now, but he's only 27. They signed him to the extension. He's making 14 this year, and then he has 3 more years after that. Or 4 more years after that part of the extension. Like you signed him long term, and I think that was a good decision by the Mavericks. He's a player that every single team would want in the NBA. That number, he's making 19, almost 20 million next year, 21 the year after that, 23 after that, and then 24 and a half. Sounds like a lot, but it's 12% of the cap basically for the whole extended time, and the cap may go up more than we expect and more than we plan. And so I think that's who you're keeping. That's who you're keeping around, right? Pretty obvious that you keep those guys, so they don't have to blow it up because you've got a core of those guys. And I think that there are a bunch of guys the Mavs could keep around, but they do have to figure out some things with some other guys. So let's talk about that coming up. Let's get into some of the guys that should be traded coming up at this deadline. Guys that the Mavs have to make decisions on. We'll do that and more coming up. Locked On Mavs. One more thing. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by TurboTax. If you're somebody like me who tries to do it yourself, I'm sitting here recording my own show. I'm going to be posting my own show, doing the lights, the audio, all that stuff. I try to do everything myself. Taxes is not the thing to do yourself unless you're just an incredible wizard. And if you're an incredible wizard, you're probably working for TurboTax. TurboTax Full Service can help you get your taxes done by a trusted expert. They can do it for you, start to finish, without the stress or the guesswork. They handle everything, W-2s, self-employed forms, and work to get every deduction. I've had several years where I just had so many different tax forms. You're like, I don't even know how to fill all these out. I don't know what I can get, what deductions count, what don't. There was one time they were like trying to figure out the square footage of my office to get it. I was like, all right, I'm taking a tape measure out. There's all these different things you got to figure out. TurboTax experts can help you do that. It's for a limited time. You can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate. Get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local. TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Also brought to you by Rocket Money. If you're trying to do it all yourself, you're trying to create these spreadsheets, trying to figure out your finances, trying to figure out, all right, where's all these subscriptions and things that I've got going on. You don't know where bills are coming in, subscriptions are coming in, all these different things. Now you're paying for dinner over here. You're like, there's too much stuff going on. Hidden fees are hitting you left and right. You don't even know it. Rocket Money comes in and helps you out. The personal finance tool that helps you take control, finds and cancels unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I've done this. I went to Rocket Money, had a couple of bills, and I looked at it, and I was like, all right, what can you do with this? I was very skeptical, I'm not going to lie, and I went in, and they lowered my bill for me. It was pretty awesome. And they saved me money overall, which is great to hear from Rocket Money. They also helped me get all my finances in order, figure out what I was paying, what I didn't want to be paying. I was able to go cancel some of those things easily myself, but they can also help cancel those bills for you as well. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon.
Shut it down! Let's go!
It's a One More Thing bonus episode of Locked On Mavs. Check out the Everydayer Club for different ways to get the show ad-free. You get a feed of ad-free right in the podcast subscription platform that you subscribe to. So you get ad-free episodes of this show, as well as access to our Discord. Some fun stuff happening there. Isaac's in there all the time answering questions. We're talking about how the show got started. There's all kinds of fun stuff that gets talked about in the Discord. So go join that. Links in the description or the QR code. You can subscribe to the Everydayer Club. Be part of it. The Blazers are kicking our butts. The Jazz are kicking our butts. These teams that aren't better than the Mavericks. All right, Isaac, we're talking about the Mavs. Should they blow it up? They don't need to. They don't have to blow it up. They've got some good pieces going forward. This team, you got Flagg, you got Max, you got Lively, you got Kyrie, you got PJ. Questions for Lively for sure. Questions for Kyrie potentially, maybe. But those are ones that I'm not even considering moving on. Now there's more. All right, who should be traded? Who else could you? There's the trifecta of Naji Marshall, Klay Thompson, Daniel Gafford. These are the three that keep coming up a lot in these trade rumors. When people ask me here, who do you think is going to get traded? I think one of those three could potentially be traded because you start to look at some of these guys and you go, all right, why those guys that should be traded? And if it's not Anthony Davis, it's one of those guys. They're easier to trade because of their contracts. But I think one of those guys because, one, I think they could be valuable to other teams. Lots of teams need a backup center. So Gafford, there's been a lot of rumors about him. For the Mavericks side of things, Gafford has not been super good this year. He's looked okay the last couple of games. Looks like he's got some spring back in his step, and the Mavs could absolutely use that. They could use it next year with Anthony Davis and Lively being injury-prone guys. I hear that argument from many fans that I talk to. They're like, well, how could you get rid of Gafford if you've got these guys that are all these injury-prone guys? Well, I don't know that Gafford is the right fit for this team going forward unless you have a really good pick-and-roll player And you may get that as a guard in the draft this year, but I don't think you're getting one in free agency because I don't think you're going to have the money. And so if you're not going to get one free agency, you have to go into the draft. Now you're talking about a rookie guard trying to unlock Daniel Gafford's game. And it's just not making a lot of sense to me. I don't know that that's where the game is going. Gafford's making $14 million this year. Then his extension kicks in. His extension is only 3 years. And then it becomes $17 million, $18 million, and $18.9 million, so about $19 million. That's 10% of the cap. For a backup center, making 10% of the cap, you get 10%, right? Like you get 10. So that would make sense that he would be making about that much if he was playing to the level that he was in the past. But between the two things that we've talked about over and over again, his ankle injury this season has really derailed the season. Not playing with a point guard has really messed him up, I think, too. And so between those two things, he's not had a great season. So if a team wants to take Gafford off your hands and could give you something for it, I'm open to that possibility, especially somebody younger. He's 27, same age as P.J. Washington, but a different type of player. P.J. is a guy that would fit into any single team. Gafford is a center, or you got to figure out how do we play with him. And so Gafford is one I would think about. That contract kicking in, I don't know if that's going to look so great if Gafford continues to play like this. Naji Marshall, interesting one because he's playing really well. You're like, all right, Naji's been great for us. Okay, so Naji Marshall's been great in this role. He's got the ball a lot. I think we've seen guys have the ball a lot in their hands, and then all of a sudden when they get pushed to a secondary role, look at my guy Quentin Grimes for the Sixers. He was in this primary role at the end of the season for the Sixers, going off, scoring 30, 20 points a game basically to end that season. Now he's in a tertiary, quadricery role. What's the fourth one? Secondary, tertiary. I don't know what the fourth one is. He's like the fourth option a lot of times on the court, and he just doesn't look like he knows where to go, where to be. And I don't know if guys can always waffle between those two things. Like, all right, I'm a first option. I know exactly what I'm doing. I think Hardy is like this. You're like, all right, if I'm not a first option, what am I? What am I doing out here? Naji Marshall has not shot the three ball well this season at all. His defense has been pretty good. He's definitely going to fight. He's been the heart and soul of this team throughout this stretch. And so, yeah, vibes-wise, you want to keep Naji. That floater is incredible. He also is making, he's making $9 million this year, $9.4 million next year, and then he's just an unrestricted free agent after that. So his contract becomes expiring in the offseason. I think if the Mavs could get a first-round pick for him this year, I think that's something that you do because I don't think he's in your long-term future because I don't know if you could do PJ plus Naji long-term next to Flagg. I don't know how that works out. And so I think that if you're going to choose between the two of them, I think it's Naji gets traded. Keep PJ. PJ has proven he can be a starter on a finals team. He's had a better three-point shot throughout the course of his career. His three-point shot has not been good this year. But Naji hasn't had a history of the three-point shot being there for him. And he's been given a lot of opportunity for that. That's just a big thing in today's NBA. You cannot have a wing that cannot shoot like that. Look at the Knicks with Josh Hart sometimes. Like you got to do so much extra stuff on the court just to like prove that you should play. So those three, and then Klay Thompson, his contract becomes expiring this offseason as well, meaning he's only got one more year after this one. And so they've got, like, if you can get something for Klay, he's making 16.6 and then 17.4. You could keep him. You could keep him or Naji and just let it kind of expire, play with them next season, see what happens. Maybe trade them at the deadline to a team that just wants them for the stretch run. But I think one of those three guys gets traded by the trade deadline. The other guys you got to move off of long-term, D'Angelo Russell, $5.9 million player option next year. He may just take that if he becomes a minimum guy. So I think you got to move D'Angelo Russell. He's not getting any play at all. I laughed in the postgame show because he was in the opening, like the hype video for the retro night, and you're like, oh wait, jump scare D'Angelo Russell just popped up. Jason Kidd does not want to play D'Angelo Russell, so he's out. If Jason Kidd's going to keep being the coach, which I expect him to be, unless he's the GM, then D'Angelo Russell needs to be gone in some way because it's just not working out for him here. Jaden Hardy essentially becomes expiring this offseason. Like, he only has one more guaranteed year than a team option. So that contract, he's making $6 million both those years. He's not fit in Jason Kidd's rotation. He's not found a role in Jason Kidd's rotation. I haven't seen his game level up in a way that would make me say, just give him an opportunity, just give him a chance. And so I think that's something that you move on. That's someone you move on from. He's 23, could still get better in his career for sure. But that's one I think that you try to figure out a move for it. If you can move a couple of these guys, you don't have to make a huge move. You could keep Anthony Davis, I guess, if you want, and still keep the cap flexibility in a way. Caleb Martin's one. I wrote his name down, and then I started thinking, I was like, man, He's making $10 million next year, then $9 million the year after that. The last 9 games, he's played really well, but let's not forget that 40 games before that, right? So if you can move off of Caleb Martin, if somebody's interested and wants somebody that's had some playoff experience, then I think that's something you do because you've got to move on from some of these guys next season to be able to get that cap flexibility that is so important. Then the Mavs have to figure out the Ryan Nembhard situation, the Moussa Cisse situation. They want to sign those guys. They don't have the roster spots or the cap money to sign either of those guys. So they have to make some moves. So you don't have to blow it up completely. My whole point in all this, you don't have to blow it up completely. They have some building blocks. They have some pieces to move going forward. They have some tradable vets that I think one of those guys will be traded. A big piece in Anthony Davis you got to figure out, and then little pieces here that you have to try and figure out just to go into next year. That's my thoughts on the Mavs trade deadline. Hope that answers some of your questions that you guys have had, that you guys have sent in on either the text line or the Discord and all that. So guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me on Locked On Mavs. We got more stuff all throughout the rest of this, guys. Thanks for listening to Locked On Mavs. Peace out.